Good afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, April the 13th, 2022. Got both sections here. We got a lot of lecturing to do, so I'm coming flying out the gate, 100 miles an hour. Today is Wednesday, April 13th. Look at what we have to do today. The heart, blood, and blood vessels. A lot of topics. But you know what else? Help me out, somebody. Help me out. What is happening at 7:30 p.m. tonight? 7:30 p.m. tonight. What's happening? Study sesh. Okay, let's talk about it. The quiz topics. The quiz topics. I hope you're writing this down. I hope you're paying attention. The quiz topics are endocrine. But somebody help me out in the chat. What about endocrine? What type of questions are we going to have about endocrine? Help me out in the chat. What type of questions? Help me out. What type of questions? Ooh, no one's going to help me out in the chat? Oh, come on. Level 1. We're talking about level 1. Level 1. Name this gland. Name that gland. Thank you, Navneet. Thank you, Walisha. Okay. The other topic is going to be the structures of the heart. Name this chamber. Name that chamber. Name this valve. Name that valve. Name this huge vessel. Okay? So, put it in the chat right now. Put it in the chat right now. Do you understand the topics for tomorrow's quiz? Put it in the chat. Yes, says Richard. Yes, says Kiana. Hey, Kiana, you didn't say good afternoon. Yes, Imelda, you didn't say good afternoon. Brian, you didn't say good afternoon. Oh, my God. Okay, so the people understand. The people understand. There it is. Okay, says Gupri. Gupri, just say good afternoon. Gupri. I'll wait. No, I'm just kidding. I can't wait. I'm going to move on. Here we go. Thank you, Gupri. Okay, we're in lecture mode. We did endocrine last week. This week is all about cardiovascular system, so I'm just going to move on. What are we doing tonight? Understand that the heart is really two pumps. We did this in lab, but we're doing it again. We're going to do it again. Then we're going to describe those complex layers of the heart. We peeked at it in lab yesterday, but it probably wasn't so clear. And then we're going to take a tour of the, it says microanatomy of the heart. It's actually, this should say the macro and microanatomy of the heart. Those are the three things we're doing tonight. Let me know in the chat. Are you ready? We might go a little bit fast tonight. Are you ready? Let me know in the chat. Trader says yes. Brent says yes. Who else is ready? Gladys is ready. Okay. Richard's ready. All right. Let's go. I want the chat to be, what are the kids saying nowadays? Lit? I want the chat to be lit. Can we get the chat to be lit? As I eat a pretzel on the microphone? I think we can. Oh, the heart. The heart. This is what the t-shirt should look like. Let's redesign the t-shirt. We know that the heart doesn't look like this. How did this ever come to be the symbol? No. Let's redesign the t-shirts. Huh? Who's with me? Let's make a lot of money. Anyway, let's keep going. The heart is the pump at the center of two circuits of flow. Let's do a 10-second delay. You ready for this 10-second delay? This side of the heart, 10-second delay. Where is it going to pump its blood to? Where's the destination? 10-second delay begins right now. Okay, go. The lungs. Oh, somebody owes me an apology. Somebody owes me an apology. Somebody put upper body. Who owes me that apology? Don't be shy. It's okay. We're just learning this stuff. But you got to apologize. The lungs. It's going to the lungs. It's okay, Elena. We still love you, right? Through the pulmonary artery. Yeah. Now, here's another question. 0-second delay. 0-second delay. What type of blood is it? High in oxygen? Low in oxygen? What type of blood is it? Nico says low. Tiana says low, low, get low, get low, get low, get. All right. Next question. Next question. Next question. 10-second delay. 10-second delay. What is the destination of the blood being blasted out of the left ventricle. 10-second delay. Destination, what is it? All the bot, way to go. Oh, way to go, Christina. Way to go, Kiana. Way to go, Andrea. Way to go. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at everybody. Fingers and stinky toes. Yeah, all the way down to your nasty hammer toes, right? Okay. So we get this. All right, let's do a 5-second delay. 5-second delay. 5-second delay. What name do we call this side? What's its circulation? It's the blank circulation. What word do we put in here? 5-second delay. Okay, go. What you going there? Spanish speakers, pulmonary. Way to go. Where's Montse? Montse, where is she? There's Adele. There's Brian. The pulmonary circuit. Yeah. All right. There's Montse. Okay, good. Just check. Just making sure. Just making sure. All right. 0-second delay. 0-second delay. What should we name this circulation? Go. What should we name this circulation? System. Way to go, ABT. Way to go, Richie. Systemic circulation. Because it goes to your whole system. All right, check it out. You guys are really smart. I told you. I told you. I told you. Ooh, the pulmonary circuit. Okay. Go to pick up your oxygen. Yeah. And the systemic circuit. Blood is pumped to the tissues of the body where it delivers its O2. Who's this? Who's that a picture of pregnant? Let me know in the chat. Who's that a picture of? Does anybody recognize it? I know it's kind of small. Who's that? Maybe it's Cardi. Hey, Cardi. How you doing? Okay, let's keep going. And this is the same exact image. Okay, notice. We'll be doing this a lot tonight. When we talk about blood that is low in oxygen, we are going to color it blue. It's not the actual color in your body, but it's useful to study. Blood that is high in oxygen, we are going to color red. Okay? Excellent. All right, let's keep going. The heart, an introduction. Okay, location of the heart. Pretty obvious where it's located, but let's put some anatomical terminology to it. All right, let's put some anatomical terminology. It's in the mediastinum. What? The mediastinum is this kind of cavity within the thoracic cavity. It's a space, right? Yes, the mediastinum is a space. It's a cavity within the thoracic cavity, okay? The mediastinum is a cavity or a space within the thoracic cavity of your body. Between the second rib and the fifth intercostal space. Okay? That's where it's located. Oh, here's a good question. How about this? Let's do a 5-second delay. Ready for this? The heart is deep to what bone? 5-second delay. I'll get to you, Nico. The heart is deep to what bone? Okay, go. The sternum. Easy question, easy question. I will do the pronunciation in just a second. Here we go. Mediastinum. Say the word media, then say stinum. It's an awkward word. It's an awkward word. So say the word media, then stinum. Okay.
Mediastinum. Is that right?
There you go.
Right.
Bam. Oh, let me know in the chat right now. Let me know in the chat right now. Did you see this in the lab yesterday? Didn't you see how the heart sits on the superior surface of the diaphragm? Gabriella says, see, yeah, of course we did. Anterior to the vertebral column, posterior to the sternum. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat right now. Did you see when we lifted the entire heart out of the thoracic cage? Did you see the vertebrae? Did you see the vertebrae? Yes, the people saw the vertebrae. That was part of the grand finale. I gotta mute somebody. Hold up. Okay. All right. Here it is from a transverse cut. Okay. Notice that the lungs actually wrap around the heart a little bit. Okay. But the majority of the lungs are posterior. They're deep. Let me know in the chat right now. Do you remember having to take your hand and scoop it underneath the lungs to kind of flip the whole thing out? Did anybody remember doing that? You really got to get underneath that lung, right? Okay. I forget what this question mark was. Oh, we're going to talk about the layers of the heart now. Oh boy, here we go. The layers of the heart. Okay, we're going to do this the best we can. So imagine we take a little bit of a section of the heart, we zoom in on it. Zoom in. What are we going to see? Yeah, we're gonna take this nice and slow. The layers of the heart. Okay. Come on, technology. Here we go. The pericardium, aka the pericardial sac, right? Okay, the pericardium. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Now, there are two layers of the pericardium. There's the parietal pericardium. And if there's a parietal pericardium, then there's also going to be a what pericardium? Help me out in the chat. The parietal pericardium will touch like the walls of the cavity. Visceral, Carmen, visceral, Montse, visceral, Christina. Yeah, a lot of membranes are double layered. One of them touches the wall of the cavity, and the other one touches the organ itself. Parietal, visceral. Bam. Okay. Now notice that the layer, thank you, Drea, the layer that touches the heart itself, you can name it two things. It's the visceral pericardium, right? The other half of the parietal, or we could call it the epicardium. Same thing, same thing. Okay, same thing. Next up, there is a thin space, okay? A thin space between the parietal and the visceral. And this is called the pericardial cavity. Now let's do a 5-second delay. What do you think is found in this thin space? What do you think is inside this thin space? It's much thinner than this. 5-second delay. Okay, go. What do we think is in there? Fluid. Fluid. Yeah. Now, I have a question. How about this? 0-second delay. What's the function of the fluid in there? What's the function of the fluid in between these layers? 0-second delay. What's the function? Oh, way to go, Drea. Way to go, Bernardo. Way to go, Elena. Yeah, it reduces the friction. Your heart is constantly shaking because of boom, 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 boom. So you want your heart to be not rubbing up roughly against your ribs and stuff like that. You want it to be reduced friction. Okay, way to go, Gladys. All right, let's keep going. Way to go, Adele. Now we get some text to go with it, okay? We can go a little bit faster. The pericardium, double-walled sac, right? We know this. We know this. The parietal layer touches the wall of the cavities, the wall of the mediastinum. The visceral layer actually touches the heart. Okay. We just did this. We just did this. We just did this. Oh, look at that. We just did that. We ruined our own slide, did we not? Okay. And now we're going to introduce a new term, and that is the fibrous pericardium. Not superior, but superficial to the parietal pericardium is some connective tissue called the fibrous pericardium. And this anchors the heart to surrounding structures, including its own blood vessels and things like that. Okay, I'm going to leave this up for a second. I'm going to talk while I leave it up. Notice what we've done. We have talked about this layer, this layer, this layer, and this space. So now let's do a 10-second delay. Where do you think we're going next? How about this layer? Does anybody know what this layer is? 10-second delay begins right now. Okay, what is that layer? The myocardium. Way to go, everybody. Way to go, Gabriella. Way to go, Navneet. So we're going deeper now. We're getting into the heart. Okay, but we're going to talk a little bit about the epicardium. Then we'll do epi, myo, endo. That's where we're going next. Who's ready? Let me know in the chat. Are you ready to go to this analysis? Okay, we're ready. Let's go. Let's zoom in. Let's look at those. Okay. Epicardium, aka the visceral pericardium. It's got two names, same structure, two names. Same structure, two names. It's part of the sac. Okay, epi on top of the heart. On top of the heart. What comes next? The myocardium. Let me know in the chat. 0-second delay. What does myo refer to? What does myo mean? What does myo mean? What is that? Navneet, that was fast, Navneet. That was fast, Isabella. That was fast. Okay. Okay, myocardium. Endocardium, the inner layer of the heart. Okay. And what's cool about the endocardium is it continues with the blood vessels lining. So imagine this, the lining of, let's say, the aorta is the same as the lining of the left ventricle. They are continuous. Let me know in the chat. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That the lining is the same. It's continuous. It doesn't get interrupted. Does that make sense, people? People. Got it, says Leslie. Okay. Okay. So the three layers of the actual flesh of the heart: epi, myo, endo. Epi, myo, endo. Okay, let's keep going. And just so you know, remember when we studied skeletal muscles? Skeletal muscles have certain types of arrangements. Like some muscles, like your pectoralis major, kind of looks like this, which is why it's drawn like that in comic books, right? Your biceps looks like this, which is why it's drawn like that in comic books. Your deltoid looks like this. You get the idea. Well, the muscles that surround your heart also kind of go in patterns, kind of circular patterns wrapping around your heart. Just FYI. All right? Oh my God. Oh. What do you think? Should we quiz? What do you think, everybody? Should we break this down piece by piece and do it nice and slow? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Looks like it's going to be on the quiz. Well, we can't cover it all in one quiz, but Should we break it down nice and slow? Yeah, let's go. Watch. I guarantee you that within the next hour, you will look at this diagram and go, oh, okay, I got it. Right now, you're a little bit like, right? Yikes. Trust me. Trust me. Here we go. Why don't we start with the atria? Ooh, the atria. Okay. The right atria and the left atrium. By the way, atria, plural. Atrium, singular. Okay. These are the receiving chambers. Quick question for the chat. Quick question for the chat. Quick question for the chat. What type of blood is being received right here? What type of blood is being received right here? 0 second delay. What type of blood is being received right here?
Yeah.
Deoxy. What type of blood is being received right here? Right here. Now we're on the left atrium. Oxygenated. Okay. Look, the atria are smaller than the ventricles. Their walls are thin. And they contribute very little to the propulsion of blood. Okay. Now, how can we demonstrate that? Well, take a look. Let me know in the chat right now, who's got the thicker myocardium? The left atrium or the left ventricle? Who's got the thicker myocardium? Who has the ventricle? Of course, oh, way to go, Leslie. The ventricle does. Yeah. Okay. So the atria are just not as powerful. Bam, bam. Okay, right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the whole body, and the posterior portion has these kind of bumps. All right, formed by pectinate muscles. I think it's Latin, but pectinate means comb-like. So if you use your imagination, it kind of looks like a comb. It looks like the teeth of a comb, I guess. I don't know. Gonna mute somebody. Okay. Let's keep going. Technology, here we go. Okay, now let's continue talking about the right atrium. We're going to continue talking about the right atrium. That's where we left off. Okay, the right atrium is receiving deoxygenated blood from the body. 3 veins empty into the right atrium. You know what? Let's do a 15-second delay. 15-second delay. Can you name 2 of those huge veins that empty into the right atrium? 15-second delay begins right now. Okay, go. What are the names? Oh, Bernardo's going for the. Oh, look at this. Look at Leslie. Look at Richie. Everybody. Look at Christina. Look at Gladys. Look at Monse. Yeah, way to go, everybody. Okay. Oh, Richie, way to go, Richie. Well, when it's plural, it's probably. I never see the word plural, Nico. So just do superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. I've never seen a plural. Superior vena cava. And look, as the text pops up, so does the label. What a great design, Professor Madden. You're so good. The superior vena cava collects all of the deoxygenated blood from above the diaphragm. So everything from the diaphragm up dumps into the superior vena cava. Inferior vena cava drains all of the blood below your diaphragm. Okay. And then Richie, coronary sinus. Oh, it returns the deoxygenated blood from the coronary veins, from the heart itself. Yeah, from the heart itself. Now, let me know in the chat, 0 second delay. Why do we not see the coronary sinus on this diagram? 0-second delay. Why do we not see it? Does anybody remember this from lab? How come we can't see the coronary? It's way to go, Gladys. It's posterior. So we will see it later. We will see it later. We will see it later. Okay. The left atrium receives, now I got to switch colors, right? I got to switch colors. Receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. These 4 pulmonary veins are bringing blood from the lungs to the heart, from the lungs to the heart. Okay, got lots of good oxygen. Fresh from the lungs, fresh from the lungs. Okay. All right. Let me know in the chat, how do you feel so far? How do you feel about the right atrium and the left atrium? What's your comfy level? Comfy level check. Comfy level check. That's a 9. We got a 9er. 10. 10. Oh, Nico, being dirty. 69. All right, 9, 9, 9, 9. Great. Let's keep going. 8, a bit fast. Yeah, we got kind of 3 lectures to get through, our trees. We got to move, right? We got to move. Okay, so we saw this in real life. Here's an internal aspect of the right atrium. Okay, right? We saw this in lab, superior vena cava, the opening of the inferior vena cava. Remember, we lose a lot of the inferior vena cava during dissection. We lose it because it's hugging up against the diaphragm so closely that you can't rescue a lot of it, right? There's the ascending aorta, the myocardium of the left ventricle. We saw all this. Pectinate muscles, which is the giveaway that this is the right atrium. Interatrial septum. Let me know in the chat right now. What is a septum? What is a septum? Like the septum of your nose. What is a septum in anatomy? 0 seconds later. What is a septum? Anybody? It's just a divider. Yeah, it's just a separation. Yeah, it just divides. So obviously your right and left atria have to be divided. They have to be divided. So there's your interatrial septum. Opening of the coronary sinus, that's where low oxygen blood is dumped into the right atrium. And I have a challenge to issue to everybody. Don't put it in the chat right now. Do not answer this question right now. Come talk to me about it in lab on Thursday. If you're interested in learning something fascinating, if you're interested in learning something fascinating, come talk to me on Thursday about the fossa ovalis. Whoa, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's keep going. Ventricles. Okay, let's do the ventricles. Ventricles, we can call them discharging chambers because they are the ones that squeeze really hard and boom, right? Boom, send the blood flying out of the heart. The right ventricle forms most of the anterior surface. When we dissected open the thoracic cavity, or when we lifted up the rib cage, you are greeted mostly by the right ventricle, and you could see the right atrium. Okay, here we go. The left ventricle, remember, just like we did in lab, you had to sort of turn the heart. You had to look at the posterior surface, and you get that big, chunky left ventricle. Trabeculae carneae are the muscle ridges of the ventricle walls. Check them out. Check them out. Check them out. Look at this trabeculae carneae. Somebody let me know in the chat right now. What nickname did we give it? What nickname did we give the trabeculae carneae in lab? Does anybody remember this? Freddy Krueger skin. Yeah. It looks like Freddy Krueger's face. No? Looks like scar tissue. Freddy Krueger. Okay, let's keep going. It's just an interesting feature of the muscles, okay? Papillary muscles. They are little bumps that project into the ventricular cap. Look, I'm going to highlight them right now. Here's a papillary muscle. Here's a papillary muscle. Here's a papillary muscle. Here's a papillary muscle. You get the idea. Okay. Okay. Chordae tendineae. What a good word. By the way, look at how many E's are in tendineae. Let's do a 5-second delay. What nickname could you give to the chordae tendineae? 5-second delay. Okay, what nickname? It's a pretty easy one. Tendon cords? Okay, sure. I don't know. Heartstrings. Thank you, Gladys. Yeah, little heartstrings. Let me know in the chat. Did you see the chordae tendineae in the lab? Did you see them? They were still pretty stiff, right? Let me know in the chat. Yep. You should have seen it with Wafa. You should have seen it with Angelica. Yeah. They were very obvious. They looked very much like this. They looked just like this. It's fascinating. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Nico. All right, ventricles. So now we get a little bit more info on the ventricles. Here it comes. The ventricles are thicker than the atria. This makes sense. This makes sense. The ventricles are the actual pumps of the heart. Remember, the atria are actually kind of weak. You know, the atria are kind of weak. The blood just kind of fills up in here and just spills out, okay? The atria are not strong. Brandon, are you listening to me, Brandon? The atria are not cock diesel. But boy, oh boy, the left ventricle, Brandon, you out there?
That's unacceptable. It can't be.
It's true. It's true. Look at that. Cock diesel. Anyway, if you're wondering what that's all about, I'll explain it during the break. Somebody remind me to explain. It's not a dirty term. It's just old school slang. Okay. The right ventricle pumps blood into the pulmonary trunk. Boom, 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 boom. Help me out again. Pulmonary trunk. What's the destination of the blood? 0-second delay. What's the destination? Not a trick question. Lungs, not a trick question. Lungs, lungs, lungs. Left ventricle. Let's change colors. Left ventricle pumps blood into the aorta. Boom, 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 boom. And then what's the destination? What's the destination? Not a trick question. Not a trick question. The entire body. The entire body. From your head to your toes. Out of control. Baby, you know. Oh, anybody out there like Mario? From your head to your toes, out of control. Baby, you know. Huh? Huh? Anyway. I'll slow it down for a second now. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. Now, I throw in, first of all, help me out in the chat. Help me in the chat. Help me in the chat. What type of cut is this? 0-second delay. What type of cut is this? Oh, we're going back to week 1. What type of cut is this? Way to go, Montse. Way to go, Adele. Way to go, Nico. Way to go. Hey, Riley. Hey, Blessa. Where you been, Blessa? Huh? Where you been? I need an explanation. All right. Check it out. The myocardium of the left ventricle, much thicker. Hiya! Thank you, Navneet. Okay. All right, so now we look at it in real life. This should look familiar. And look. We are gaining comfort. We are gaining confidence in these terms, right? Superior vena cava. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Dumps out into the right atrium. Chordae tendineae, the heartstrings, right? Yeah. Papillary muscles the little bumps that hold on to the heartstrings. Yeah. Myocardium, muscle of the heart. You get the idea. We're making our way through, aren't we? We're doing a good job. We're doing a good job. Let's keep going. Okay, so now we're going to use this moment to transition into talking about valves. Let me know in the chat right now. 0-second delay. 0-second delay. How many valves does the heart have? Number of valves. How many valves does it have? Not a trick question. Not like 4. 4. What is this? What are we, Valley girls? Like 4? No, just 4. All right? And say with a Brooklyn accent.
Like 4.
4. Totally,
4.
Cicely. Let's keep going. Okay, valves. All right, valves. Valves. All right, come on, technology. Here we go. Valves' function is to make sure blood flows in one direction. Okay? One direction. That's the job. Oh my God, one direction. Thank you. I was wondering who was going to react to that. Look at these guys. Okay. Thank you, Adele. Thank you, Andrea. Right? Lama foul. Bless her. All right. The job of the valves is to make sure, Gupri, make sure blood keeps flowing in one direction. In other words, we do not want backflow. We do not want backflow. You do not want blood flowing in the wrong direction. Now, listen to me very carefully. Everybody, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. The valves open and shut in response to pressure changes. In other words, it is the force of the blood pushing on the valves that opens them. The valves are not pulled open by the papillary muscles. No. Valves are pushed open by pressure. Let me know in the chat. Do you understand that? Let me know in the chat. Do you understand that right now? Okay. Valves are not pulled open. They are pushed open by blood. Blood pushes them open. Blood pushes them open. Okay, ABT gets it. There are two major types of valves. Okay, two major types of valves. There's 4 total. There's 4 total. But we can make 2 categories. The AV valves, atrioventricular. Okay. And the semilunar valves. The semilunar valves are the ones leading to the pulmonary trunk and the aorta. Okay. So, of all the valves, only the mitral valve has 2, how do I say this? Cusps. We're going to see it from an overhead view in just a second. All right. Let's keep going. Let's do the AV valves first. The AV valves. And by the way, atrioventricular tells you what you need to know in the name, right? Atrioventricular. Separating the atrium from the ventricle. Aha, AV valve, not bad. The AV valves prevent backflow into the atria. Okay, so there's the tricuspid valve, 3 cusps located between the right atrium and the right ventricle. I'm pretty sure that the heart we had cut open yesterday, the specimen that was cut open, definitely showed this valve big time. It may not have been in great shape, but it definitely showed it. All right. The mitral valve, only 2 cusps, separates the left atrium from the left ventricle. Okay. Keep the blood flowing in one direction. Keep the blood flowing in one direction. Okay. The chordae tendineae are anchors for the valves, but I'm going to explain this more in a second. Okay, these heartstrings. I will explain how they function in just a few moments, right? Along with the papillary muscles. And these papillary muscles hold the valves closed. Remember, the papillary muscles don't pull valves open. The papillary muscles hold valves shut. I will explain. I have graphics and everything, okay? Okay, so the AV valves. The AV valves have a little bit more going on. AV valves have heartstrings. AV valves have papillary muscles. Notice that you don't have that here or here. A little less complicated, the semilunar valves. A little less complicated. All right, let me know. Can I move on from the AV valves? Can I go to the other 2 valves? Can I go to the other 2 valves? Yeah, Leslie, but you can call one. This one is the tricuspid, and this one you could call the bicuspid. I would go with tricuspid and bicuspid. It's easier. Mitral's good too. It's a good answer. It's good. But it's easier to remember tri and bi. Okay. Here's what they look like from a superior aspect. Yes, Nico, yes. Here's what it looks like. Walisha, go. Go in the chat. What's up? Walisha. I saw you raised your hand. Okay, let's keep going. Accident. Okay. Ooh, look at what it looks like in real life. Look at what it looks like in real life. In real life. We saw this yesterday. This is exactly what it looks like. Fascinating. We saw it yesterday. Okay, the function. Watch this. We have good explanation of how the valves function. Okay, right now, the AV valves are open, and here comes blood flowing in. Here comes the blood flowing in. So step number 1, blood is filling the atria, and it presses against the valves, and the valves are pressed open. The valves are pressed open. The ventricles are filling up. The valve flaps hang into the ventricles, and we can see that. They're hanging, whoop, whoop, hanging, letting the blood just rush right through. Okay? But now we get the last squeeze, So blood is trickling down, trickling down, trickling down, and then the atria give it a little squeeze. In you go. The valves are open. The valves are open. Let's see what happens in the next picture. We zoom in a little bit. Blood is pushing on the valves. The valves are open. Okay. Next, the ventricles are full and the valves are closed. So let's explain that. When the ventricles are filled up and the ventricles squeeze, boom, 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 boom. That's a lot of pressure. And the blood presses up against the valves and shuts them. And the heartstrings or the chordae tendineae, now they provide the resistance. Now, look, the blood is being pressed so hard, it wants to escape, but the valves are being held shut. Look, the valves are being held shut. So the blood cannot escape. Nope, cannot escape. So the chordae tendineae and the papillary muscles function more like anchors. They hold the flaps shut. Oh, the chordae tendineae and the papillary muscles hold valves shut. Let me know in the chat right now. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? When the ventricles squeeze, oh man, when the ventricles squeeze, these flaps are under a lot of strain. And if it weren't for the strings, if the strings weren't there, the valves would just go whoop and swing up. If the strings weren't there, the valves would just bloop, get bullied by the blood and swing right back open again. Nope, but that's not what happens. Like, thank you, Drea. Exactly. But they get held shut. Held shut. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're going to do the semilunar valves, which is these two valves right here. Okay. Now the semilunar valves, let's put that word up there. Semilunar. And they're named that because the cups have a kind of a moon shape to them. I don't really agree with that, but whatever. Okay. So they also open and close due to pressure from the blood. Oh, the blood pushes on the salon doors, boom, and it pushes its way through. All right. Both of them have cusps that look like half moons. Okay. You got to use your imagination a little bit. Okay. Now the pulmonary valve sits or separates the right ventricle from the pulmonary trunk. The aortic valve separates the left ventricle from the aorta. Okay. 4 valves. Here's what it look like from the overhead view. So, I mean, they say it look like half moons. I don't know, whatever. It's just 3 cusps. 3 cusps. Okay. And let's look at how they function. So now the valves are open because the ventricles are squeezing. The ventricles are squeezing. The ventricles are squeezing. And the blood, boom, pushes the doors open. The blood pushes the doors open. All right. As the ventricles contract, blood pushes against the valves and pushes them open. Push open. Bam, right? Kaboom. But notice something. Look at the shape of these cusps. What's going to happen if the blood tries to do a U-turn? What's going to happen if the blood, let me do a 10-second delay, 10-second delay. Look at the shape of these doors. Look at the shape of these doors. What's going to happen, 10-second delay, if the blood tries to do a U-turn? 10-second delay. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? Can it flow backwards? It's gonna get close. Exactly, right? The blood closes the doors on itself. Oh my God, let's take a look at it. Yeah, we zoom in as the ventricles relax, blah, blah. Blood tries to flow backwards. It tries to Boom, boom. Oh, let's just go back where we came from. Boom, boom. Let's just go back where we came from. But yes, exactly. It's like those one-way spikes in the like we're oh, you guys get it. You guys get it. If we zoom in, it becomes very clear. Look, the blood actually shuts the doors on itself. Nope. Keep going that way. Keep going the way you're supposed to go. Keep going that way. You're not, once you leave the club, what's the bouncer going to say to you? Huh? Where are all my club folks at? Once you leave the club, no re-entry. No re-entry. Do they allow re-entry at Disneyland? Anybody? Let me know in the chat. Probably not. They probably charge you money. 100%? Okay. All right, fine. That was a trick question. Now I know all the students that go to Disneyland, and I am going to lower your grade by 10%. I'm kidding. Lamau. Let's keep it going. Bye. Hi. Okay, so here's my favorite thing to teach. I love this. The biggest risk of life. Okay, whatever. All right. So let's take a moment to appreciate love. Okay. Let's take a moment to appreciate the greeting card industry. And I was looking at some cards for the Buy Wife the other day, and I found this one, and it's got this lovely couple laying in a hammock, right? They're a lovely couple laying in a hammock, and the card said, I thought about buying it for the Buy Wife. The card said, the best thing is listening to someone's heartbeat and knowing it's beating because of you. Oh, corny. But guess what? Let me know in the chat right now. What do the movies and the TV shows and the video games, and now we could say the greeting cards, what do they all do? What do they all do? Lie! Thank you, Drea. They lie. They lie. They're all liars. They're all liars because here's the thing. The sounds you hear when you listen to someone's heartbeat are actually the valves shutting. the first sound you hear in someone's heartbeat are the AV valves slamming shut. Oh. Oh, come on, technology. You can do it. Come on, technology. The second sound you hear are the semilunar valves. Okay, the pulmonary and the aortic also slamming shut. Whoa. Look, AV valves, semilunar valves. Well, Drea, I'm glad you said that. Because now we get to do a rewrite. Let's rewrite this card. Let's make it anatomically romantic. Let's make it anatomically romantic. Shall we? Should we do the rewrite? Let's do the rewrite. Lies. It's all lies. It's all lie. The cake is a lie. I don't even know how I know that. The cake is a lie. Okay, let's do the rewrite. How about this one? The best thing is listening to your heart valve shutting, keeping blood moving in the right direction, and preventing it from backflowing in the heart. Yeah. Now I'm ready to boom chicka pow pow, right? Now the romance is on, right? Ooh la la. Oh my God, nerd alert. Love a foul from Richie. Yeah, this is not true. This is true. Feel free to use it on Valentine's Day. Okay? Next Valentine's Day, I expect people on Instagram to write me and say, hey, I wrote a card to my loved one about this. Okay, let's keep going. All right, for all of you, this is a little bit of physio, but it's also a medical application. You can strategically place a stethoscope to listen to the individual valves. Okay, I don't want to spend that much time on it, but if you place your stethoscope in the 5th intercostal space on the right side, okay, you can listen to the tricuspid valve over here. You get the idea. Okay. Okay. You can strategically locate your stethoscope to listen to specific valves. Okay. Okay. This is just good info. You don't have to memorize it, but it's very interesting. Okay. If you want to listen to see if the pulmonary valve is functioning correctly, well, you got to put your stethoscope on the left-hand side in the 2nd intercostal space. All right. So there we go. Now, look at this graphic. This is from your textbook, and it looks complicated as hell, but I promise you it's not that complicated. Okay? What they're doing is tracing the path of blood. Okay? Now, you may think you don't know how to do this, but you can do this. Look. Superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, into the right atrium and the coronary sinus. Right atrium goes to right ventricle. Right ventricle sends it to the lungs. You go to the lungs to get oxygen. So here we go. You get your oxygen and you come back to the left atrium through the pulmonary veins. You go from the left atrium down to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, you get blasted into the aorta, and away you go. Okay? So even though this looks complicated, it's really not that. Let me know what you think in the chat. You understand this, right? You can read this graphic. You start here. Let me know in the chat. This is you could do it. Yeah, it's not that complicated. Okay? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. All right? Start here and just work your way around. Okay. All right, we talked about this in lab. Blood pressure. Thank you, Drea. 681. 681. 681. Okay, blood pressure, 120 over 80. Let me know in the chat right now. 0-second delay. 0-second delay. Which one of these numbers is diastole? Which number is diastole? Which number is diastole? The 80, yeah. It's always S over D. Systole over diastole. Okay? What does that mean, though? When the heart contracts, specifically the ventricles, blood pressure is at its highest. That's systole. This is systole. It's when the ventricles contract. It's when blood pressure is highest. All right. Diastole is when the heart is kind of passively filling up with blood. It's that momentary rest. So of course this number is going to be lower blood pressure. It's not the lowest in your body, but it's lower blood pressure. This is lower blood pressure. Okay. And by the way, 120 over 80, good healthy number. That's good. Okay, if you wanted the flow of blood in text format, here it goes. This is the same info from here. It's the same info, but here it comes in text format. All right, just in case you want it. Right side of the heart. Bam, okay? The 3 huge veins that dump into the right atrium. Bam. Right atrium pushes through the tricuspid valve. So now we're right here. Okay, let's stop along the way. We came into the right atrium, into the right atrium. Now we're pushing past the right atrium. We're pushing past the tricuspid valve. What comes next? What's after the tricuspid valve? 0-second delay. What comes next? Not a trick question. What comes after the right atrium? What is this right here? Right ventricle, yeah. Way to go, Tisada. Okay, not a trick question. Right ventricle. Now the right ventricle has to, hold on, I'm gonna keep using black, hold on. The right ventricle has to push through a valve, and we call that the pulmonary valve. Goes into the pulmonary trunk. So now we're in the pulmonary trunk, pulmonary arteries. Ultimately, we go to the lungs, right? And we get oxygen. So we're at the halfway point, essentially, right? So now we're up here. We're up here getting oxygen. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Left side of the heart. The 4 pulmonary veins. Okay. Not a trick question. Not a trick question. Not a trick question. What are the 4 pulmonary veins dumping their blood into? What comes after the pulmonary veins? Not a trick question. The left atrium. Yeah. The left atrium. Boop. The left atrium has to push through a valve, the mitral valve. It's got to push through that valve. Boop. Okay, not a trick question. Not a trick question. What comes after the mitral valve? After you push through that valve, where are you? The left ventricle. Way to go, Andrea. Yeah, not a trick question. Boop. The left ventricle has to push through a valve, the aortic valve. Push through. Then you're in the aorta. And then you go to the whole body. Okay, easy, right? Now, the idea is you don't have to memorize this, right? You do not have to memorize this because it makes sense. It makes sense. It's like a train on a track. You have to follow the stations. You have to follow the steps. You have to follow the steps. Okay, so you don't have to memorize it. It just makes sense. You know, you don't have to memorize this piece by piece. If someone asks you, where does blood go after the aorta? Well, you're like, well, where does blood go after the aorta? Everywhere, right? Sure. Okay, let's keep going. Now, believe it or not, equal volumes of blood are pumped between the pulmonary and systemic circuits. Whoa. So about, probably like 4.5 liters each, right? The coronary circulation, okay? Now, in lab, we need to know this artery and this, and this, okay? Pretty sure we need to know those 4. And remember, the point is the coronary circulation. This slide is all about the arteries giving highly oxygenated blood to the heart itself. The heart is a self-feeding pump. Whoa, it's a self-feeding pump. Okay. The heart muscles need blood too. It's the shortest circulation. I like that. I don't know. I should probably take this out of notes, but think about it. It's like blood gets blasted out of the left ventricle and immediately like whoop, goes and supplies the heart itself. And a lot of it, of course, continues into the aorta. Shortest loop, heart to heart to heart, right? The oxygen is delivered when heart is relaxed. Okay. Now, my question for the chat with a 10-second delay is this. Knowing what we know about the myocardium of the certain areas of the heart, 10-second delay. Which area of the heart needs the most oxygen? 10-second delay. Okay, go. Which area of the heart what's the hardest working part of the heart? Oh, my chat is quiet. Left what? Finish the answer. Oh, no, people are not understanding me. No, thank you, Carmen. Yeah, the left ventricle. Which part of the heart has the thickest myocardium? Which part of the heart is the strongest pump? The left ventricle. The left ventricle needs the most oxygen. Okay? Needs the most oxygen. All right, so that one didn't go so well. We're gonna have to brush up on that. Mute. Okay. And here are the veins we need to know. Okay. The great cardiac vein. The coronary sinus is posterior. Okay. I think we do this, this, and this. Okay. I think. And so now these veins are carrying low oxygen blood back to the right atrium. Back you go. Okay. Here's what it looks like, a little bit more of a colorful graphic, a little bit more colorful graphic, okay, from the posterior view. And there you go. So everybody take a moment, look at this graphic. Look at this graphic. Is there anything you don't understand about it? Take a moment to look at it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Celebrate, everybody. Celebrate. Every single structure on this. Yeah, we did it. We did it. We did it. We did every single structure here just now. We did it. Okay, let's keep going. Now let's go micro. Let's go micro. Microscopic anatomy. Look at this 3D image of cardiac muscle tissue. Intercalated discs. What do they do? Well, they keep the muscle cells held together. Check, right? We call them anchors. They allow the electrical impulse to travel so these cells can communicate and synchronize your heartbeat. Okay, we did this a long time ago. All right. And don't worry so much about this. I just want to point out that cardiac muscle tissue, much like skeletal muscle tissue, has striations. These protein bands that grab onto each other, okay? Cardiac muscle tissue has organelles, just like other cells. They have mitochondria. They have sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is the equivalent of endoplasmic reticulum, okay? Centrally located nuclei. They're cells. These are cells. Okay, here's a reminder. Let's take a break. Let's take a moment to take a break. Here's a reminder. Everybody right now, take a moment and just remind your heart to beat. Okay? Just remind your heart to beat right now. Everybody doing it? Do you have to do this? Do you have to? Do you have to? No. Dot, dot, dot. We're not doing it. We don't have to do it. We don't have to do this. Why don't we have to do this? Why do we not have to do this? It's automatic. Lol, I'd be dead. I'd be forgetting it's involuntary. Yeah, it's involuntary. It's involuntary. It's involuntary. How? Remember what we said in lab? We said it's automatic, right? We said, sure, it's automatic, right? But how? Here's how. The conduction system. The word intrinsic means like within itself. Intrinsic cardiac conduction system. Okay, let's follow the steps to a single heartbeat. Here we go. Step number one, the SA node. The SA node, the sinoatrial node, automatically depolarizes. Boom, right? Do, 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 do. Automatically does it itself. This is the first do, 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 do. Right? The message from the SA node do, 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 reaches the next bundle of cells, the AV node, atrioventricular node. And then the message takes a tiny little pause so that the sequence happens in the right order. You don't want this firing and then the bottom of the heart firing. You want it to happen in order. So there's a brief pause. Okay. Step number 3. The message travels to this section in between the ventricles called the bundle of His. Okay, here comes the message. And by the way, all this is super fast, right? We're doing it nice and slow, but this is happening right now inside of you. Every heartbeat, super fast. Here it goes. The message continues down what's called these bundle branches. Right? Traveling down the septum between the ventricles. Okay. There it goes. And finally, a structure we learned about yesterday, the Purkinje fibers depolarize the myocardium all within the ventricles. Right? Purkinje fibers. And by the way, Samara, I need to correct something. I was doing some studying last night. Purkinje fibers, all of this. Oh, I feel so dumb, but here we go. This is getting recorded. All of these conducting cells are not nervous tissue. Oh my God, Professor Madden, you liar. You liar. They are They're specialized cardiac muscle cells. Yeah, I can't believe it. I told a lie yesterday. Wasn't on purpose. All right. But this is not nervous tissue. This is specialized muscle tissue that can automatically fire. Okay. Whew. All right. Glad I got that off my chest. Whoa. Yeah. Let's keep going. This is physio, but here's what it looks like on an EKG. Your ECG or your EKG is an electrical recording of the do. Okay. There you go, Christina. All right. Time check. Oh boy. Okay. All right, let's keep going. And that's the end of this lecture. It takes more than just heart. You need more than heart. You need more than heart for your cardiovascular system. You need blood. And that's what we're going to do next. Let me stop the recording because this is our lecture on the heart. And we'll be back real soon. So here we go. Stopping the recording right now.